In a dry, broken land where water was rare, there were small, muddy puddles scattered across the ground. In one of those puddles lived a tiny fish. The water was dirty, shallow, and barely enough to survive. There were other small fish, too, all living in their own little puddles, separated, limited, and used to this life. No one complained. No one questioned anything, because for them, this was the world. The little fish had never seen anything beyond that muddy water, but sometimes, when the wind was calm and the light hit just right, she could see something far away, something blue, something vast, something beautiful. She didn't know what it was, but it didn't look like her world. One day, she gathered the courage to ask another fish, "What is that blue place?" The other fish looked and laughed. That's not for us. That's the ocean. It's too far, too big, too dangerous. We belong here." The little fish stayed quiet, but something inside her didn't feel right. If that place existed, why couldn't she go there? Days passed, but the thought never left her. Every time she looked at that distant blue horizon, her heart felt restless. Her puddle suddenly felt smaller, tighter, almost suffocating. One evening, as the water level dropped even more, she realized something. If she stayed here, nothing would ever change. She would live here, and one day she would disappear here. That night, she made a decision that no other fish had ever made. She would leave. The next morning, while others stayed still in their puddles, she slowly moved toward the edge. The ground was dry, rough, and unfamiliar. Fear filled her heart. What if I don't make it? What if they were right? What if I fail? But then another thought came. What if they were wrong? With every bit of courage, she pushed herself forward. Jump by jump, struggle by struggle, she moved across the dry land. It wasn't easy, it wasn't safe, but she kept going, because now going back was no longer an option. And then, after what felt like forever, she reached it, the ocean. Endless, blue, alive. She paused for a moment. This was bigger than she had ever imagined. Slowly, she entered the water, and everything changed. The water was clear. There was space, so much space. She could move freely. She could breathe easily. She could finally live. For the first time in her life, she wasn't just surviving. She was free. Days passed and she grew stronger, faster, more confident. The fear that once controlled her was gone. And one day she looked back. Far in the distance, she could still see those tiny muddy puddles, small, limited, unchanged. And she realized something powerful. The puddle was never the problem. Staying there was. Most fish stayed because they never tried, because they believed this small life was all they deserved. But she was different. She chose to believe there was more, and because of that, she found a whole new world. So ask yourself, are you living in a small puddle just because it feels safe? Or are you ready to take the risk and discover your ocean? Because your life is not limited by where you are, but by what you believe is possible.